Business Live today.
In our first story tonight, stakeholders in the ports and harbour sector have exchanged ideas on how best to make Ghana's ports efficient by the end of the year. It was at a conference dubbed Improving Port Efficiency and Trade Facilitation in Ghana. The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, said government is committed to coming up with practical steps to improve inefficiency at the ports. He was also concerned about challenges facing the sector and advocated appropriate technologies to tackle them.
Ghana's ports have seen some improvements over the years. We have created new berths, built new terminals, upgraded equipment, and implemented several reforms to raise the efficiency of the ports, to facilitate trade and improve revenue mobilization. In spite of all these efforts, most users at our ports will agree that we are far from achieving the level of port efficiency that we all wish to see to make Tema or Takoradi the ports of choice in the sub-region. There is still queuing for berth space. Ship turnaround time is far higher than the average for most regions around the world. In a 2013 study conducted by renowned researchers Brian Slack and Claude Comtois on ships' time in port, an international comparison. This study shows that the average time in port for vessels in Europe is about 25 hours. For vessels in East and North Asia, it's about 17 hours. South Africa is 64 hours, and I'm told that the port of Tema did about 103 hours in 2016. Clearly, we have some long way to go. We have a long way to go. Our government would work with the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority and the stakeholders towards the realization of the objectives of the Tema and Takoradi port expansion projects, as this is in consonance with our rapid industrialization agenda. On the cargo clearance front, improvements have been very slow. Cargo dwell time is still very high compared to ports in South Africa, let alone talk about Asia or even Europe. We still have delays in the clearance of goods and the attendant cost of such demurrage and rent. In 2016, shippers or importers paid an estimated amount of some $100 million in demurrage charges. I'm told that the last time a similar estimate was conducted in 2013, the demurrage amount was $75 million. Whilst government likes revenue, this is not the kind of revenue we want to build this country. It is a punitive cost, an inefficiency cost. It is an avoidable cost, and it only goes to demonstrate that shippers are not releasing containers to shipping lines in good time.
Now, the World Bank is predicting some exciting times for the Ghanaian economy based on projected pickup in commodity prices, the slight decline in crude prices, and some significant drop in cocoa prices have raised concerns about the performance of the economy going forward because of the heavy dependence on these commodities. But the country representative to Ghana, Henry Kerali, says government should not be worried as the bank's surveillance points to good times for the commodities.
We anticipate commodity prices will, in the medium term, continue to increase. Ghana has significant reserves of oil and gas. Ghana is a strong exporter of gold and of cocoa as well. All of these are commodities that the prices are defined on international markets. As long as these prices in the medium term continue to recover, we will see a boost in the economy of Ghana. But at the same time, there needs to be efficiencies in revenue collection, internally revenue collection. There needs to be efficiencies in the utilization of public funds. All of these will lead to improvement of the economy and to improvement in the lives of the people of Ghana.
I don't know what your crystal ball is telling you, because I look at cocoa right now,
I look at crude oil right now, and some would say there might be the need even to review the budget, but you still optimistic on that one?
We have to look beyond the weekly figures. If we look at the prices last year, this time last year, they would be significantly lower than they are now. And so if we look at a longer time period, rather than a few weeks or even a few months, we anticipate that in the medium term, 2, 3, 4 years, the prices will recover.
But I'm looking at this year, i.e. to your growth target.
Yes, that's what we mean. By the end of the year, we anticipate higher commodity prices.
Crude
All right, the World Bank speaking there about commodities. We want to turn to another important commodity, that is cocoa, and a senior researcher at Cocoa Board, Mohamed Fouad, has revealed Ghana has the capacity to produce 1.2 million tons of cocoa annually. If the demand is expanded, Ghana has fallen short of meeting its annual target for more than 5 years. The 2015-2016 crop season, for instance, saw Ghana bag only 690,000 metric tons of cocoa from a target of 850,000 tons. The shortfall is attributed to poor managerial policies of the Ghana Cocoa Board as well as unfavorable weather conditions. Prince Apia has more.
Farmers in the Tibiebu community are predominantly cocoa farmers. The farmers have introduced other cropping as part of best practices to cushion themselves during the off-season of cocoa farming. But they have had to sell at extremely low cost to middlemen due to unavailability of market. Mohammed Haruna is a farmer.
The price of our products, sometimes you grow plantain, nobody will buy. Sometimes you grow pepper, they say pepper mekwebu, so you won't get any correct price. So my problem is I should beg the government so that any produce which come from our products will be bought by the government. Because that middleman and women, they kill us. They are killing farmers. Because of that, most of the farmers or youngsters, they don't want to go into farming. Because, so if the government will help us to buy our products there, everybody would like to go to farm.
The 2015-2016 crop season saw Ghana bag only 690,000 metric tons of cocoa from a target of 850,000 metric tons. The figure represents a drop from 740,254 metric tons the previous year. 900,000 metric tons of cocoa targets for 2016-2017 also could not be met. Senior researcher at Cocoa Board, Mohamed Fouad, tells Love Business Ghana can optimize production to support the economy despite the challenges.
It falls directly into the cry and government's policy that Ghana has to get back to optimal production levels. I travel across this country widely within the cocoa belt, and I know when we are serious, we can produce over 1.2 million tons of cocoa. The challenge has been, which we are confronted with now, has to do with the demand side. So if you produce more, what then happens to the market? Because the more you produce, we say the higher the supply, the lower the demand, and that's a function of price. So we have to look at it as a comprehensive strategy for government. Yes, we want to produce more, but what about the demand markets?
For Joy Business, Prince Apia reporting.
Switching gears now, and it all started as a small value-added service provider in the telecom sector by 3 young graduates from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. SMSGH has now grown to become one of the major players in providing services such as bulk short messages and alerts to not only indigenous but multinational companies. After over 10 years of operations, Haptel International, based in Kenya, has acquired a majority stake in the company, and SMSGH has now rebranded as Haptel. There's more in this report.
After over 10 years of operations, Haptel International, based in Kenya, which has acquired a majority stake in SMSGH, has now taken on a new rebranded identity, Haptel. Haptel is the new name in Ghana's telecom industry, which promises to deepen its growth. The chairman of Haptel, Hans Nielsen, spoke to Joy Business after a short ceremony to launch the new brand.
Number one is that as SMSGH, the GH limits the name to Ghana, and we're going Pan-African. We're starting out in a couple of countries, but the intent is to go across various countries. So clearly, that was a problem with the name. The second issue is we talk about mobile communications, which is bigger. We're offering mobile communications. SMS is just a subset of it. So again, by having SMS, it's another limitation. So we kind of had to change the name because it was limiting the business to something which is misleading, really. It's a third reason, which was an opportunity to put everything in under one umbrella, which we had already, but it was not seen that way. If you look at the brands and the sub-brands, it was an opportunity to make it much clearer.
So, what added value is Haptel bringing into the industry after the rebranding? Alex Bram is the chief executive and co-founder of Haptel.
We see a second wave coming where we want to usher businesses into a second wave where it becomes more interactive. So now we've started with things like mobile banking. So now you hear on the airwaves every bank having a short code to say dial this number and you can access your account. It's no more just alerts. Now you can actually transact and interact with systems, right? And we want to take this to as many businesses as possible. So imagine you're able to book an appointment for taking a photo for your passport just by dialing a number, or getting an alert that your driver's license has expired and there's a link inside it. You just click and pay for it, and the system will tell you, okay, you've paid for it, pick up your driver's license at this XYZ point at this time. You're able to look up the appointment system or yourself. So this is the challenge we're throwing both to ourselves and to businesses.
The company hopes to be the market leader in Africa's telecom sector in the short to medium term.
The country's second biggest oil field, the Jubilee in Ntomme 10, from August this year will start exporting gas. Yes, and this is one of the several measures the company has instituted to make up for brief shutdowns of the Jubilee field this year. Group Chief Executive Paul McDad disclosed this to Joy Business after Tullow Oil's investor meeting in Accra today.
Between Côte d'Ivoire and Ghana, we are just awaiting the outcome of that discussion and the ITLOS process. But we're very confident that the governments of Ghana and Côte d'Ivoire, are seeking the best interests of both nations. And in the best interests of both nations, there's been a huge investment within TEN, and we want to maximise that investment for the owners of TEN. So I don't think we know any more than anyone else knows.
Maybe you're seeing the crystal ball.
ITLOS, as you know, ITLOS, the tribunal ITLOS is very transparent. And any discussions are posted on their website, so are very visible. So the good thing is we're able to see all of that information. But we are confident that we will be going back to drilling next year. I've been this week in Ghana and here in Accra meeting with the new government, and they reassure me that there'll be an appropriate resolution to the boundary dispute through ITLOS, and we'll be able to move forward.
How critical is this to the group in terms of getting past this and going ahead with your strategy and everything? Because I know that you do your own extrapolations and projections, and all these investors are also doing the same thing.
Yeah.
How critical is the completion or the finalization of this in terms of the group's plan, strategy, and implementing all the things that you have planned to turn around the business?
Well, I think what's, is it critical? Well, I think it's very important. I think what's important is that we've been a great champion for investment here in Ghana. Ghana is a great investment destination, and we want to portray it globally. We're a global player. We're out with global investors who watch our investments, and a big part of that investment is here in West Africa, and particularly in Ghana. So I think what's important to us is to be able to demonstrate that the investment that was made in 10, we can get on and maximise the revenues from that investment, both on behalf of the state of Ghana in terms of the fiscal payments we make, and also the returns that we want to return to our shareholders. So I wouldn't say it's critical to our business going forward, but it's very important, and it's important cash flow. All cash flow is important, but I think.
And you're still watching Business Live on the JoyNews channel. We want to take a short break. We'll be right back with the Joy Business Van.
Business Live today.
Welcome back. Now, pork is the most widely consumed meat in the world. However, local production, especially in commercial quantities, is only just beginning to see a boom. Well, one entrepreneur has set out to rebrand the pork industry in Ghana. He's Ernest Mensah, owner of Menace Farms. He was a car dealer until he realized the viable market for pork. Ernest Mensah is our feature today on the Joy Business Van. En route to a Kubifa near Bodjas in the central region, we are on our way to Menace Farms, a piggery owned by Ernest Mensah. Operating a piggery was not the original plan of Ernest. He actually was a car dealer, but business was slow.
There was a time when, the car business wasn't moving. I was on the internet and I was like looking for what to do next, so I came across some chunk of money, millions being used for importation of food in the country. So I was like, oh, if they are importing all this amount of money, food in the country with millions of dollars, maybe we can sell food too, and then we can make some profit.
Ernest's quest to explore opportunities in the food business will lead him to discover the potential of pig farming.
When I went around, I realized everybody was doing the same thing. People were putting water in. It wasn't to my satisfaction, so I took the bold step, and then through a friend of mine, I went to South Africa to go and study professional pork producing at BTA, for 3 weeks. And then I came, and honestly, it has really helped me.
That was a year ago. Ernest wanted to turn around the local pork industry, which is being affected by competition from imported products. He noticed the manner in which pigs were kept locally was a major turn-off.
Some of them were like, they go to chop bars, pack feed, like kitchen waste, fufu, leftover fufu and stuff like that. And they give it to the pigs to eat. And when you go there, the place is not clean, no clean water for them. And also, I couldn't stand it. Some of them are very disgusting, So through that, I was like, no, I can't, I want to do mine different. So in fact, when I went to my training, I saw a difference. They were doing it on a commercial base and professional level. And that's the same thing I'm practicing here.
Ernest started with 10 pigs. Now he has 130 and has sold many. As a startup, Ernest has had to explore other ways of getting his products onto the market. Along the way, he would start packaging frozen pork and grilling pork for social occasions.
It's me being in the business, both marketing and breeding. I know what they want. Now I know they like the, like let's say the cat ones, meat, and then the what do you call it, the grilling one, which I do. Or people call me, oh, we have this birthday party, we are feeding about 50 people with pork. can you grill? I say yes. I take the order, I do it nicely, I package it, and then I send it to them. And they are happy. They recommend me to other people as well. You can see this is how we package it. This is fresh pork. This is a kilo. And we can season it also because not everybody knows how to season them, and I know how to do it very well. So I season it for a small fee, you know, in addition to the fresh pork, you know.
But how viable is a pork market in Ghana now?
There are opportunities, but I would say some of them you have to create them yourself, because the system in this country, for instance, what I saw in, let's say, Germany and in South Africa, is not the same as what I see here. Over there, they have a system like they have a central place where when your pigs are ready for market, the trucks come in, load them and take them to the central abattoir for them to be slaughtered and then sell them to whoever they are selling them to. You have no idea where they are going, you understand? And that way, you can produce more and then you wouldn't fear taking loan to expand your business, you understand? But here, it's different thing. I have to be a breeder, I have to be a butcher, I have to package, I have to grill before I can be able to do a sell, market my. So, and it's working, but it's really tough.
It's tough, but Ernest is ready to brave the challenges ahead. His focus now is to grow his business. In future, he wants to export his products to neighboring countries. Wouldn't be bad to have pork for a meal tonight, would it? Well, time now for your busy bits coming up right now.
In Microsoft Internet Explorer, look for Tools and then Internet Options. Now you want to look for temporary internet files in the window that appears. By simply pressing the buttons, you can delete cookies, which are small files that some website place on your computer to track your visits to their site, or files, which are actual web pages and images. You can also clear the history of where you have been on the internet and set the number of days worth of history you'd like your computer to record.
Let's quickly do our interview of the day, and the IMF says Ghana's program with the fund must be extended and is insisting that the decision should be taken before the end of the year. The finance minister's insistence the program would only be extended if government fails to meet all the targets by close of this year. According to the fund, the proposed program extension has been influenced by setbacks in implementing critical reforms. Dr. Natalia Koliodina is country representative of the IMF.
Interview of the day.
Our technical point of view, we can extend the program by 1 year, which means that the last test date is going to be in December 2018.
And not 2019.
Well, currently the last test date is in December 2017. If a program is extended by 1 year, it means that the last target date and performance criteria would be set for end December 2018. And then the mission will come early 2019 to complete the final review.
So possibly December 2018 is a possible option that we are looking at here.
Well, this is the option that we have been discussing. So, as I said, it is essentially the decision of a member country. It is the decision of the Ghanaian authorities whether to request program extension. Well, you see, in our program arrangements, we usually set performance criteria 1 year ahead. So I would say that we need the decision to be made before that.
Interview of the day.
Well, it's time to go. Thanks for making a date. My name is Daryl Kwao. I'm going to see you same time tomorrow.